Personally, I think Monorepo is the future. I mean, in future, everyone is going to have a single Monorepo with their code base because of AI. If you have your code together, all the AI LLMs, they can better understand the context.
Welcome, my dear viewers. I welcome you to Season 1, Episode 6 of Web Stories with Sachin podcast. Today, we have a fantastic guest, that is Santosh Yadav. And Santhosh have been a web developer for more than 17 plus years, and he is the most recognized voices in Angular community. He is an Angular GDE, GitHub star, and NX champion. And these are the titles that you don't just collect on LinkedIn. They are done or achieved through active contributions. Santosh also has a YouTube course on Free Code Camp, which have gained 1.8 million views on YouTube. Yes, and this video is titled Angular for Beginners. Santosh has also attended or he has given 50 plus international conferences talks, and he's an active core contributor for NGRX and Angular community. He is currently working as a principal developer advocate on CodeRabbit, which is an amazing AI review tool. And he also does something most developers don't do, that is contributing to open source community. Amazing. So I warmly welcome you today, Santosh, to the podcast. I'm more than excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation, Sachin. I mean, I wish I could contribute more to Angular and NGRX in past few years, but I'm looking forward to get active again because I'm not actively contributing to those projects now. But whenever I get time, so it's I try to because I love both of the projects. I mean, NGRX yes. I also support financially. I also try to. I am also one of the GitHub sponsors, but yeah. And thanks for telling me about the course. Last time I had seen that course when it was 1.2 million or something. So okay. I'm surprised that it made 1.8, close to 2 million now.
Yeah, even I was surprised, such a huge response to that video, and also thinking so many people are actively learning, right? So that's also an amazing thing.
And I think the most surprising thing about that course is it's 17 hours and people still somehow do that. So. Hats off to them. I mean.
Right, and how do I say? It's also a course on Free Code Camp. So, yeah, it's one of the most trustable platforms out there on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so yes, let's start a bit with your personal journey. I have read a lot about you on the internet, but in today's episode, I don't think we can go through all over that. How did you get started building on the web? For the first time, I remember that you said Prince of Persia in one of the podcasts that got excited to, join computer science in the beginning. But was there any specific moment for web development and particularly Angular as well?
I remember when I started my career, I was doing Windows development. Windows apps. I used to build Windows apps. So it was actually at a company where I used to work, and I was just visiting a website. And someone had posted a code snippet. I think in past people used to post a lot of code snippets online because GitHub was, I think, just there. Not many people were aware of it. And there used to be different sites where people used to just push code snippets. I mean, of course, there was no Stack Blitz or no other websites too. So I just downloaded a code which was to what do you call this the sprinkles which comes on the website. So something
confetti.
Like that. Confetti, yes, confetti, yes. So I downloaded that code and I was trying to make it run on my local machine, right? And then I was wow, this is so fun. And then I saw that it was actually done using jQuery and JavaScript. And I was but I had no idea what that is. And somehow one of my coworker, he just saw my machine and he said, "Hey, Santhosh, can you show me that again?" That looked really nice, that confetti thing, because then he asked his manager, he said, come here. So they were supposed to launch, SharePoint website. I'm sure people who worked in Microsoft knows SharePoint.
Yes.
So he said let's integrate this script in our new launch because we are launching it org-wide. And so he asked me like, can you give me the script? So I was like, okay, why not? I mean, I gave him the script, and then I forgot, like, and then I had no connection with web development for whatever next 1.5 years, until unless one of my, like, I joined a startup and I was again doing this Windows dev thing, and I was liking it. I mean, I used to get like excited whenever I'm solving some issue, and then one day he came and asked like, we are building a new product, and it's going to be web based. So we are going to use a new stack. We are going to use an ASP.NET MVC, and we are going to use a lot of jQueries. And then he asked like, are you interested? I was like, yes. I mean, I was always excited about doing something in web, but never got the chance. So that's how I started. And Angular like came very late, I think. And then I did a lot of jQuery. I was so excited when jQuery 4 was released. I was like, oh, this used to be my daily thing. And then Angular came. AngularJS was like came before, right? AngularJS, which is not now discontinued. It used to be. It was like one of the first web framework which existed, the AngularJS.
Yes.
And I was doing a project inside like that startup very late, like 2015. I think 2015 around, and then I did a little bit of AngularJS, and then joined a new job where I was again doing AngularJS because jQuery was like partially replaced by Angular, I would say. So, and then 2017 actually I came across Angular framework, the new framework which exists now, and which
This is a modern Angular.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Angular, not AngularJS. We don't call it as AngularJS. We just call it as Angular. So I came across Angular in 2017 when I was teaching AngularJS. So I used to teach AngularJS in Pune, and then I saw there is an Angular new framework available. So why not to teach this? So that's how I started learning about it, and then then never look behind.
Okay, amazing. Were you self-taught, or did you have a mentor along the journey?
I mean, I would say Deborah Kurata was my teacher, the Angular teacher. So she's like amazing person. I actually came across one of her course. The organization where I used to work, they gave us access to Pluralsight, and then Angular was new at that time. Not many contents were created, and she had a course. So I did that course, and because I was aware of AngularJS, so I could relate some of the features, and I really liked TypeScript. I was like, oh, this is amazing. TypeScript is so great. So yeah, I would say she's my mentor, and then of course so many people after that. I mean, so many people I got to learn with.
Okay, amazing. I'm glad to hear that part of a story, because I guess this is not something that I heard from past podcast of yours. So I was glad to hear this. And next is more like advices to junior and mid-level developers. So you became a GitHub star, and this is a recognition, like, as far as I researched, it's like less than 500 people have got a GitHub star. And this is also,
less than 100 actually.
Less than 100? Oh, okay. Sorry. And this achievement is gained by code contributions, right? So what is like a strategic path that you tell for a junior that they have to do for open source to get noticed, for example, not for like contribution's sake, right? So how would you tell them to get started?
I think it's an interesting question because, GitHub star is something you don't become because you want to. It's like, of course, when I started, I was focused more on giving back to the community, right? And it's surprising that in 6 years, so much have changed, All the projects are worried about like getting this AI slop, because now more and more developers can write code without even understanding what is there. But back in the day, it used to be different, right? You have to understand the issue, and then you have to contribute to the code base. So it's changing. I would say how to become a GitHub star. I don't have any like foolproof path that do this, and then you become a star. It's like you are dedicating towards the community, and if you see the website, right, it's called stars.github.com. They have a good section written about like what GitHub looks into a star, like whenever they want someone to become a star. And they talk about like, of course, the people who are passionate about teaching, people who are passionate about community, people who are passionate about open source. So those are the qualities they look for whenever they nominate a new star. So work on those qualities, and it's not something which you have to rush, right? You don't, because like getting there is not a goal, right? It shouldn't be a goal like, oh, I just want to become a star. It's something which you are more passionate about, that you want to continue doing this. And
Okay.
yeah, that's what I can recommend. I still have this stars trophy here in back.
Okay. That's from the GitHub. Okay.
Yeah, so you
Nice.
get this trophy. I mean, the one you can see, I somehow have two.
Then the one near the helicopter or in the
No, no,
middle?
no, in the middle. So you see these two
Okay. Okay.
blacks,
Yeah. Right.
this one. So I somehow have two. Generally, you get one. I mean, once you become a
Okay.
star, so you get this plaque.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so
Double.
I mean,
Double star.
somehow I have it, but yeah.
Okay. But like, if you see, if somebody wants to start open source, right? Because it's a huge community. Like, if I want to start something like tomorrow, so
Hmm.
what do you recommend? Like, where do I get started? Because it's a question that many have.
I mean, yeah, actually, I wrote a very detailed,
Mm-hmm.
tutorial. Maybe I can just call it a tutorial, because I ended up writing it
Yes.
in more than a month, because I did a
Okay.
lot of research and then finally interviewed
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people who contributed to open source, and they are still
Mm-hmm.
doing it. And it's available on my website, Santosh Yadav.dev. If you go there
Okay.
and look into the blogs, but I will talk a little bit about it. Like, the
Mm-hmm.
first thing is, I always tell this to people, that look, you don't have to contribute to open source, right? I
Mm-hmm. Right.
mean, just see why you want to do that. I mean, is it
That's.
because of FOMO? Because
Mm-hmm.
90% of people are doing it because of FOMO, believe me. And I'm not making this figure. They just see, oh, this guy is doing it, so let's do it. And you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to. I mean, you can like support open source in multiple ways, right? You can always
Mm-hmm.
talk about a project, because if everyone is contributing, who is talking about it, who's
Mm-hmm.
spreading the word about this project, like this
Right.
project exists, go ahead and create a demo, go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
create, maybe answer questions on, maybe if you have GitHub discussion enabled, go ahead and like be active in the Discord server of that particular
Mm-hmm.
work or project. And maybe be like teach people on maybe social media, right, by spreading
Mm-hmm.
the word about it, and learn it first before you go ahead and contribute. Like, understand like why this framework exists.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, when I did my first PR, I was doing Angular for 2 years. I mean, I started back in 2017, and
Mm-hmm.
2019 was the first time I did a PR, and that was a documentation PR,
Okay.
because I saw this as a challenge. I
Mm-hmm.
see the documentation exists, but it's not like really updated,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I did my PR. So
Okay.
it's not like something, let's see, because there is an open issue, let's do that. It was
Mm-hmm.
not like that. So you have to be really well aware of things,
Mm-hmm.
why you want to contribute, and maybe just interact with people first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember like when I was doing PRs for NGRX, one thing which stood out is like how much maintainers were actually ready to help me, because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I really cared about that project, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before even opening my first PR, I was like doing few things around Angular. I was talking about Angular, so they somehow noticed me. Oh, this guy
Mm-hmm.
exists, right? And if
Mm-hmm.
people, especially in open source, right? If you are in, like going to open a PR for a project, and you have been already interacting, the chances are better that your PR will be like maybe taken care very
Mm-hmm.
nicely. Maybe maintainers know you really care about the project, and yeah, maybe you can become a feature maintainer as well. Why not?
Yes, I mean, as you mentioned that point, like why become an open source maintainer, right? Or a contributor? Because a lot of the advices is like, do your own personal project and, build your own app. I mean to say, like, what is better in a learning perspective? Contribute to an open source and learn, or build your own personal projects?
Good question, actually. So, I think it really depends. As I said, like if you are really
Mm-hmm.
like interested in helping a project,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing is, of course, you have to learn about it, right? And how you learn about it, by building something. That's what I did.
Right.
I mean, when even before contributing to NGRX, even before contributing to Angular,
Mm-hmm.
I was actually teaching and then using it in my personal project, right? Personal project
Mm-hmm.
as well as at work.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I generally separate people into categories, like the people who are new,
Mm-hmm.
a new developer, like who doesn't know about anything. So they need to first like work on the basics, right? They need to understand like what technology they want to choose, what framework they want to choose,
Right.
and then build something and see. But there is another group of people who are like working professionals. They already know the stack, they already know the projects they are working on, they already know the dependencies they are using. For them, I always recommend go ahead and check your package.json, and you will find tons of dependencies or tons of project which needs someone to raise a PR or fix something. So that's your opportunity. But for someone who is starting from scratch, don't jump into like or doing an open source. First learn, like first figure out like what you want to do.
What you want.
Because a lot of as we discussed, right, like a lot of students nowadays have FOMO. Oh, that guy is doing open source, that guy is doing open source. But decide what you really want to do and then start.
Solid advice. I like the mention of package.json. Maybe that's a good entry point for viewers to check out how much open source packages they are using, right? Okay. Next one is something related to CodeRabbit. So CodeRabbit leaves a lot of educational comments on the code, which tells this is wrong, but it also tells here's why and here's a better pattern. It has been also a real educational experience also for me. What's the most common thing you see developers learn from AI code review comments that they probably they wouldn't have got from traditional human code review?
I mean, some of our customers have told us that we were able to catch the race condition by just looking at the PR, because this is very interesting. Race conditions are something which hard to figure out. I mean, I've done so many years of engineering, and I think this was one of the most complicated things to solve. And CodeRabbit can just tell you that okay, there might be a code race condition in your code base, and that's very interesting find which we figured out that CodeRabbit can do this for you. And also, right, I mean, one thing which I have seen in industry, I think this is a industry-wide problem. There are so many developers who don't update their knowledge. All the frameworks are improving at a very fast speed now. I think now with AI, I think it can move much faster. But there are still developers who don't try to learn, like, okay, let's say Angular, right? Now Angular has moved past with like from RxJS to now Signals, and now they have signal-based APIs like resource APIs where you can just use resource to actually make an API call and get the data. All these things are something which CodeRabbit can capture for you. That okay, why not to use resource API, because it's something which is available now and preferred for API call. Why not to move to maybe Signals, because it's better for performance. I remember like when I was doing .NET after many years, CodeRabbit could tell me that okay, you are like doing this in an old way, because I had written .NET last in 2017. And then I was writing a bit, and so it used to tell me that okay, this is the new syntax, this is the new thing. Of course, it's my responsibility to go ahead and figure out the talks, but first I need to understand how much I know. So it's like validating my knowledge, and then CodeRabbit like improving your knowledge by telling you, oh, this is something you should try, this is something which is you should do. And yeah, that's really helpful. I mean, because projects keep moving. There will be like hundreds and hundreds of developers who will contribute to it. Not everyone knows everything, and CodeRabbit can make your code base like very very standard, right? So the code across your entire code base is very standardized.
Yes, I mean, I like it. I also agree on what you said, because a lot of people, they don't have time to upgrade their knowledge, and every time the packages are getting upgraded, right? Major versions or minor upgrades that could definitely improve. Yes, these are some things that human reviewer cannot catch it. It's definitely an educational experience. But what happens is sometimes when you're pushing a lot, then you get a lot of comments, right? Some are critical, and there are a lot of nitpicks. Okay, nitpicks, maybe you can keep it aside for now. But the critical ones, and there is also an option that you can solve those options again with AI, right? So fix with AI again. So somebody have to take their time, understand the code, like such reviews. Otherwise, they are going to miss out the knowledge, because if AI is going to fix again the issues, then yeah, probably you don't get much value.
This is a very interesting topic because I'm writing a blog post. Maybe it will take some time because it's going to be a pretty big one, and I'm going to talk about like how AI is actually changing the software development. And I'm going to talk about this topic because a lot of developers don't understand that using AI may just screw up your code base if you accept everything blindly.
Yeah.
So I'll write and I'll try to share the blog post.
Definitely looking forward to that. And also, one more thing is, are there areas where AI code review still can't match human intuition? Because code is obviously, I read that CodeRabbit does it on not file based, but on the whole context of the code, right? Of the repository. But do you think like a senior developer who have been like working on the repository, so he has like an human intuition better than AI? So do you think they haven't leveraged there?
I mean, of course, like senior engineer will become more smarter, like because if you know the code base, you know like what comments to accept and what not to. And this is where like your past knowledge is going to make a huge impact on your future.
Right.
So of course, AI can be enabled. Like I mean, I really like how GitHub named their product. They didn't call it as like a AI code writer or something, right? They're not trying to replace anything. They're saying, okay, GitHub Copilot. So
Right.
you are always on a driving seat, and Copilot is like helping you, right? So think about AI as just enabler. It's not going to replace you. It's going to maybe take care of your 50 to 60% of load. Maybe it becomes more smarter in future, but just utilize it to become more smarter. That's what I will say. It will save your time in long run.
So it's like a bonus for every level of developers. Like for juniors, it can be a learning experience. I mean, of course, it can be also a learning experience for seniors. But apart from that, yeah, still a lot of good stuff there. Okay, so next is something on the NX. So you've also been recognized as NX champion. Where should a junior developer, or when should a junior developer not use Monorepo? Because that's also kind of a trend. Or do you say like people are using more Monorepo, and unnecessarily you shouldn't be using Monorepo?
I mean, look, it really depends. I would not say this is another thing which I'm planning to write about.
Okay.
Personally, I think Monorepo is the future. I mean, in future, everyone is going to have a single Monorepo with their code base because of AI. Because if you have your code together, all the AI LLMs, they can better understand the context. I think so. I mean, it's something which I've been doing since 2020. I think I migrated my first customer because we wanted to make we wanted to make it easier in case we want to share code across multiple applications, and then we don't want to copy paste a lot of things. So that's when I started, and then I realized now like learning about monorepos, even though I was not doing like AI, right? 2020, no one knew like what is going to be future.
Right.
But I invested time learning about monorepos. Now I see the value. Now I see, okay, like how much impactful it is when it comes to AI and like monorepos, right? It can make your code base much smarter. Like it can give better suggestions. Whenever you talk about multi-file edits, it can identify the changes across monorepo and suggest you something. So invest time learning about monorepos. I mean, there are some nice tools. I have been always big fan of NX. And even in my last position at Celonis, I was working heavily on monorepos. I mean, there was a time monorepos had a bad name. Okay, monorepos, they're going to be bloated, they're going to be slow. But I think that's not the case now. Every tool is becoming smarter, and NX is way smarter than you think. And we were able to scale up. Like at Celonis, we started from 100K lines of code. And by the time I left, we had 5 million lines of code. And then close to like 200 developers every month contributing to it. Daily, like we used to get 100, more than 100 PRs, more than 300. Yeah, that was freaking huge. I mean, I was like surprised like how much we could scale. And then it was fun. I mean, And then now I see, okay, I think this is something which I have learned that has become more, I think, we say more important skill now. I mean, I would say that it is something which will, I think, help me more in future, like monorepos and everything. So
Okay.
yeah, learn about it.
Yes, I also tried. I had my hands on with Monorepo recently, and initially it was hard understanding all those generators, codes like that. But one thing that was helpful was the NXMCP. That was way helpful because I could directly from the Copilot chat, get, understand, have a better knowledge about my repository, creating things.
I mean, glad you mentioned MCP because so at when I was working with NX, I used to create a lot of tools for our developers and for myself as well to make better decisions like when to merge PRs, when not merge PRs, or something like that. And with like GitHub Copilot and NXMCP, I could just like quickly create this new, maybe let's say new linting rule,
Okay.
and it was able to just figure out the docs, write the rule, and then just probably before AI, it might have taken me a week and another week of procrastination just to make sure, like, oh, I go through the docs, I read it, and then I get some time because it's not important for me, but it adds the value. And with a GitHub Copilot and NXMCP, I was like, okay, 30 minutes, I'm done. Let's deploy it.
Yeah, that's also beauty of the tools when you know how to combine it and use it for your advantage. Then you really get things really fast done fast, right?
I mean, the important thing is you should know what to build.
That's also
And
true.
and then what AI is building for you, that also, I mean, it can write any code for you. I mean, and then you accept it and it deletes your entire repository.
Okay, yeah, I think that's where the expertise come and show their real value, right? Okay, next is also your expertise area, Angular. So Angular have this reputation of being enterprise heavy and overcomplicated, right? So what's the biggest misconception about modern Angular that you wish juniors knew?
I think it's not true anymore. I mean, Angular is way smaller in bundle size. The learning curve has reduced. I think it's one of the framework which is adopting all this new tooling, making the learning curve easier and more easier. And the best selling point of Angular is something which is migration. I mean, it's not like if you have a code base, let's say written in Angular 15, you cannot migrate to Angular 21. You can. And believe me, you don't have to even write a lot of code like with your hand. I know with AI, of course, you can, but even in that, even before, Angular had something called migrations. You run migration and then you adopt new tool. So let's say control flow syntax, right? So Angular launched it around Angular 17. Says, okay, you can remove star ng for star ngf, and you can use native control flow syntax, which is baked into the template, right? Angular template engine. But do I need to do it manually? The answer is no. You just run a command and then it goes through your code base and just updates your code, and you are on the latest feature which is given by Angular, and then you can do it in parallel as well. It's not like something you have to wait for. That okay, I just migrate everything and then move on. No, you can just do it parallelly. Like you can keep writing your new code with new syntax. You can keep migrating your old code whenever you get time. So that's something which you don't get in a lot of frameworks, right? I mean, that's why enterprises love it because they don't want to invest much time doing this. Maybe you can call it as housekeeping, and then they don't want to invest much in doing this. And Angular is the best framework.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know because I'm like more on the React and Vue.js part. So this is something that I cannot totally understand.
I mean, I love the Vue community. I mean, that's the one thing which I love about Vue is the community. I have a lot of friends, and they are amazing people. React, okay, let's not talk about the community. But no hate for anyone. I think everyone is doing amazing job. I have a lot of friends in React, and they have been doing a great job as well. So love to all the communities.
Okay. So just a fun question here. If you were to start fresh today, which framework would you choose? Angular or Vue or React?
I mean, if I have to choose today, I will go fully on AI.
Okay, none of
And
this.
I mean, you talked about today, right? I mean, we're not
Right.
talking about like 10 years ago where I have to choose a
Mm-hmm.
framework. I think the frameworks are becoming more and more irrelevant now. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's how much you can think about like what you want to build and how better you want to build. Syntaxes are becoming absolute. There
Mm-hmm.
was a time a developer was known to be a good developer because he knows syntax.
Mm-hmm.
No one cares about syntax today.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right, what it is built on. It's like
Yeah,
just a website to solve your problem.
true.
Okay, then something about networking. I see that you also talk a lot about networking on X or on LinkedIn. So this is a fun question. What's the most cringe networking advice that you have heard that you refuse to follow?
Yeah, I think I never received any networking
Right.
advice. I think this is something which I learned from my own experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
That okay, I was very shy kind of person. I mean, it's not like I can openly talk to anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to be like that, like very close, very shy. And then I started interacting more with the people. I found that they're generally nice people, right? And no one is like trying to shoo you away or maybe hating you for no
Mm-hmm.
reason. So and then I started interacting more, and then I became
Mm-hmm.
comfortable talking to people. I think going to conferences and meeting a lot of people made
Mm-hmm.
that easier. But I never got any like specific advice saying, okay, do this or do that. I learn from everyone like how other
Mm-hmm.
people treat other people, right? I see like whenever people are like how good people are interacting on X or maybe good people are interacting on LinkedIn with other
Mm-hmm.
people. But there are bad people as well. Like they
Mm-hmm.
just want maybe a minute of fame. So I just try to avoid them. That's it.
But the thing is, like, I mean to say, when you're connecting with people, let's say you met somebody on
Hmm.
a conference or a meetup, right? So the first thing, probably you also connect him on LinkedIn, and he just becomes like one of the followers
Hmm.
or like connections. So do you think that you should stop there, or do you think that to really make use of these connections, that you have to do something beyond that?
That's a nice question. Now I would say because that's how I built more of my career because
Mm-hmm.
I met people on X,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, Twitter, and then I started talking to them. Right, it's not like I just wanted to stop there because we
Mm-hmm.
had some common interest, open
Mm-hmm.
source. So everyone had like
Right.
this common interest, open source, and then we kept in touch. We kept talking about it. We kept sharing our knowledge, like writing blog posts or maybe creating videos, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
speaking at a conference. Met them. We became better friends. I think most of the people, believe me, I mean, I moved out of India in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
but I already knew most of the people when I used to go for a conference.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, we already know each other. Like, oh, we are seeing each other like after so many years.
Yes.
So you have to build. It's not like just connecting on LinkedIn and then never caring about and just wishing the birthdays and whenever you have a new
Right.
job. It's up to you, like how you want to network. Let's say if you are creating a content, like let's say I connected with you, and if
Mm-hmm.
you created a content, then I come back and see your blog post and say, hey, this is nice, this is very nice blog. Share your
Mm-hmm.
content in my network. That's how you
Mm-hmm.
make connection, right? It's not just like
Mm-hmm.
following each other. Oh, it's your birthday, happy birthday.
That's true. I mean, do something like also like and care their material is also a good way of interacting and be in touch, right? Because a lot of people forget to do that. They just add a connection on LinkedIn and that's it. The new connection added and nothing ever happens beyond that.
Exactly. And I mean, even like giving
Mm.
feedbacks, right? For example, if you wrote a blog and then I give you some
Mm.
comments, say, hey, this is how you can do it. Like
Mm-hmm.
sharing the knowledge, right? I mean,
Right.
if I know something and if you know something and then share it with me. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how also you build this good connections and good
Right.
networks.
I love this advice. I'm going to try. Okay, next is remote working. This is something that you have been doing for a while now. So the question is like three productivity tools or habits for remote work. Which ones and why?
I think the most important is, of course, like have your office hours, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
uh, generally people who work remote, they think, okay, I can work anytime, but just try to
Mm-hmm.
have a proper working time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's first, like you block, okay, I'm going to do like 9:30 to 6:30, like,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe 8 to 7 or 9 to 6, whatever you want to do. But commit to that time. Have your like breakfast time, lunch time, and dinner time fixed. That's going to help you. I mean, because if you change them, if you keep changing them, that will cause an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Third one is, of course, have a office if you can afford one. Like maybe another room in your house where you
Mm-hmm.
can work alone and you're not getting disturbed and you're not disturbing your family, because remember,
Mm-hmm.
you are not the one who is adjusting, they are the one who is adjusting. So,
Okay.
and yeah, and I think the most important one is, as this is remote, you have to be like very you have to be keep in touch with your peers and as well as your
Mm-hmm.
managers. Tell them what you have been doing. It's a sync, so people, I think
Mm-hmm.
now, many people have adopted this way of working
Mm-hmm.
culture where they expect that, okay, you won't be replying instantly, but
Mm-hmm.
whenever you get time you will reply. So um, yeah, and then block hours. I think this is one
Okay.
of many many people don't do,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not something you like start doing in like your first month in your job. But as soon as you know, like you understand your role,
Mm-hmm.
you know, understand your responsibility. So start blocking hours. So to
Mm-hmm.
work, right? For example, you say, okay, this 2 hours I'm going to do this. 2 hours I'm going to work on open source. 2 hours I'm going to work on maybe partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
so something like that. So always have some time blocked for each task, so you know like what
Mm-hmm.
you are supposed to do, and take enough
Okay.
breaks. Have
Mm-hmm.
that, don't miss that.
Okay. Lovely advice. Because yeah, this focus hours is really sacred, I believe, because this is not something back in India even could do because there you're easily distracted. Though we put 8 hours or 10 hours there, we hardly do like 4 to 5 hours of work, right? Because the rest will be lost somehow
Yeah.
with chai breaks or whatever you call it. But yes, this is a good advice to like stay focused for that hours. Next section is about AI in development. So, how do you think juniors should approach AI based web development? What's one do and one don't?
This is a very interesting question. I think one thing which you have to always understand is you have to know the basics of computers, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
of course, we talk about vibe coding and vibe coding, but don't skip the basics. I posted a few days ago that, like, of
Mm-hmm.
course, like having access to best camera in the world does suddenly doesn't make you a best cameraman in the world or best photographer in the world.
Right.
Same goes with AI, right? I mean, suddenly you
Mm-hmm.
have access to AI doesn't mean you are a best programmer in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Always work on the craft.
Mm-hmm.
So don't rush. I mean, of course, if you think that everyone in the industry is using AI, no, it's only the people who are talking about it on the internet. Believe me. I mean,
Okay.
I used to work for an enterprise, like large enterprise company, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't totally like see people doing 100% of their job with the help of AI. It is getting
Mm-hmm.
adopted, but
Okay.
those people know their craft, right? That's why they're like they're building something. So work on the
Mm-hmm.
craft. Don't miss it.
Okay. Sound advice. Um, and next one is like how does your workflow with AI look like these days? How does it look like shipping a feature from scratch? Maybe not always from scratch, but if you have to, how does it look?
I mean, that's again something which I'm writing about, but I'll tell you a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. So now it has changed a lot, of course. So generally now,
Mm-hmm.
if I have to build something, I start with documentation. I think the first thing which I do is I just write down what I want to do, what I want to
Mm-hmm.
build, and why I want to build, because this is
Mm-hmm.
the question people generally don't ask. Why, right? So and then describe some multiple solutions, and then
Mm-hmm.
of course go with this document. Maybe if you
Mm-hmm.
have a peer working with you, get it reviewed, like whatever you are building is right or not, and
Mm-hmm.
then open up Copilot API, Copilot, and then give this prompt. Maybe share the document, share some context, like what you're trying to build and what is the
Mm-hmm.
output and what your ideas are. Remember, it's a
Okay.
Copilot, right? I mean, it gives you the output, what how
Mm-hmm.
you think. Like it's not driving everything. You're the driving everything. So you have to give the enough context, like what you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
build, and then that's how it has changed over the years.
Okay. So I think this is spec-driven development, right?
I would say yes. Like, now, as I said, I think there was some discussion on the internet as well. So I think Markdown is the most important file now.
Okay, how to make sure you're not completely dependent on AI to a point where skill atrophy happens, right? That's also a major concern these days.
Yeah, I mean, good question because I think most of the developers might be thinking this. There was a shift when IDEs became a little bit smart and then started giving you intelligence,
Hmm.
or maybe many more frameworks started giving you this autocomplete thing,
Right.
and then sometimes people used to get lost. Like,
Hmm.
if I don't have intelligence, how am I supposed to write a code?
Right.
And this
These
is
are
like,
very addictive, actually, these tools.
yeah, and then it used to happen to me as well. So what I used to do
Hmm.
is sometimes I just used to disable intelligence and then
Hmm.
see if I can write a code. I'm not saying do this with AI, but
Hmm.
again, I mean, knowing what you want to build and
Hmm.
what tools you want to use would be helpful if you know, right? I mean, I'm not saying like as a new
Hmm.
developer you should go ahead and try this, but I'm just wondering, like someone posted on X, I think, like what happens when you're trying to code and there is no internet. So yeah, let's see what will be the future. But one thing
Hmm.
which I have seen from my personal experience as well, IDs at some point of time become maybe not that much important because
Hmm.
there are so many things I'm able to do it from mobile. I mean, I wanted to upgrade my personal website. Okay,
Hmm.
what I did is I went to github.com. I went to
Hmm.
my repository and then started a new agent and said, okay, migrate the S root to the
Hmm.
latest version. In minutes, I was doing something else. I was making coffee for myself, came back, and then the PR was ready. So
Yes, true. I mean, a lot of people are doing so many things on the Flash, but also like getting too addictive. And parallelly, there is also advice to learn the fundamentals, and also they have to implement these fundamentals to build something, right? So, in the age of all these things, it becomes a real mess for learners.
I think it
Yeah.
really
So,
depends. The answer is always it depends. I think,
mm-hmm.
I can delegate the tasks which I don't care about much. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
what happens in case upgrade fails.
Mm.
Nothing. I mean, I can just leave it. I have,
Right.
and now, I mean, I have access to AI, but I can use it, right? I mean, that's what. So I can start delegating the tasks which are not important
Mm-hmm.
and maybe not it's not adding enough value, maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those tasks, and if I have to do it on my own, maybe I will spend 30 minutes upgrading everything, see if everything works fine.
Mm-hmm.
Why not to just give it to an agent, because I know that LLMs
Mm-hmm.
have become that smarter. So, and then I can do something more
Mm-hmm.
productive.
Right.
I just give an example of making a coffee, but I'm saying like you can, in those 15 minutes, maybe you can do something more productive.
But, are there any kind of tasks that you tell that, okay, this is for the AI to take care? I can focus more on development, and maybe testing
Mhm.
is taken care by AI. So have you categorized some tasks like that?
I mean, generally, yes, I do that. So as I said, like my
Mm-hmm.
development workflow is starting with the document and then giving this talk, and then of
Mm-hmm.
course asking AI to write test for me, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
that's one again a very interesting area. Like, of course, people say, okay, go ahead and use AI for writing test, and I have seen AI giving the dumbest test or unit test, and then people accepting it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I said. Like the craft you have learned over the years, it's now more, I would say, valuable,
Mm-hmm.
and because if you can identify this unit test is shit, then you
Right.
are important. Then a person who accept that test without thinking
Mm.
much. So yeah, I mean, you have to but understand like what you have written there.
That's true. I mean, test is also one more area is equally important as development, and that's not also easy to master, right? Because even if you want to do TDD on your own, that's a whole different area. But I guess from now onwards, people are like more into, okay, let me leave all the tests to AI and I just do the development. So I guess it's going towards that path. So let's wind up with rapid fire. Book or blog post you gift the most or like to recommend others?
Oh, so if I have to recommend a book, I generally recommend the Staff Engineer's Path, which is amazing book for all the ICs out there. If you're an
Okay.
individual contributor, go ahead and read that book. Blog posts I generally recommend one which I wrote for open source, like open source guideline or open source guide. So I keep recommending it because a lot of people do ask me like how to contribute to open source.
Okay, I think I definitely have to put that in the show notes, this link to the blog. Awesome. Favorite tech YouTuber or YouTubers in the field of web development?
Oh, so I think Deborah Kurata for sure. I mean, she creates content on Angular and used to do courses. Now she has a YouTube channel as well. So
Okay.
that's something which I will recommend YouTube
Mm-hmm.
following her. And then there are so many friends of mine who are doing live streams, and Hassan is one who is again in Angular because I follow Angular a lot. So
Right.
a lot of recommendation will be Angular based. Then NX YouTube channel, which
Mm-hmm.
is very has like good content on NX as well.
Yes, very informative. I've seen an ex YouTube channel. Okay, name three of your role models or heroes in tech or in general.
I think if I have to name three, so I'll start with of course Scott Hanselman.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a very big name in .NET, and then John Papa because these two are like very high in the list because I think they are someone because of them I am an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
When I started my career, I was doing .NET. I had no access to any resources, but I used to see the content from them on the internet. So it made a huge effort, like huge impact in my career. And third one would be maybe So third one might be my friend Tim. He's one of the contributor for NGRX. He's one of the core members of NGRX because he helped me a lot when I was new to open source.
Okay. Okay, great. Name three skills the coders need other than coding.
Oh, interesting. I think apart from coding, you have to be really good at networking. It's optional. I mean, I would say again, it's optional. But if you're really good at it, then you will you will you will see the advantage in future. And then
Mm-hmm.
what else? Yeah, I've mentioned networking, soft skills. I think like how to
Mm-hmm.
talk to people. That's very important. I mean, you can be the best developer in the world, but if no one wants to work with you, it's worth nothing. Listening, I'm sure like it's part of soft skills, but listening is very important because a lot of time when you are on call with someone, you just eat up all the time talking about yourself
Mm-hmm.
and you don't listen to other people. So if you're a better listener, I'm sure it's going to help you.
Okay, good ones. And the listening part as well, it's challenging if you're not used to and talking all the time, communicating.
Yeah, true.
Okay, what's a small productivity trick to get things done?
Small, I think block your time. So as I said, like
Block.
block your time.
Cal Newport. Okay. Which three tools or subscriptions do you find yourself relying on all time as a developer?
GitHub Copilot is one, and then CodeRabbit. I have also the subscription to CodeRabbit now,
Mm-hmm.
and have been using it in past as well.
Okay. As a developer, we sit a lot, right?
Yeah.
And some people also have problems long, long term. So, do you have a hack or a habit to stay healthy?
Of course, like because I've been there. I got
Yes.
if you're not aware, I have a diabetes type 2.
Yes, I read
So
about it.
and
And you're
then
into running actually.
which I have to somehow stop for now because I'm going
Mm-hmm.
through some knee damage, no, not damage, but yeah, some knee
Read
issue which
about
I
it.
have. So I'm going through physiotherapy. But I mean, one thing which I saw, like, if you cannot make 1 hour for your own health,
Mm-hmm.
then what are you like earning for?
Right.
So I started making this habits that like I don't want to sit for a longer time. I just take a
Mm-hmm.
break and of course exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I make sure like when I used to run, of course I used to make sure like I'm going for a run at least 3 to 4 times in a week,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to make some that time, right? Otherwise, then your health will make time for something you will not like, as it did
Okay.
in my case.
Okay. Hope you're getting better. Uh,
Yeah, much
all
better
the best.
than yeah. I lost like 12, 13 kgs. I feel like yeah.
Yes, I've seen the pictures from the past podcast and yes. huge transformation. Okay, one enjoyable activity besides coding?
Besides coding, I think I just love to listen to music. I'm into old music, so I just keep listening to Mohammad Rafi, Manna Day, Kishore Kumar, a lot of Kumar Sanu still.
Lovely. Okay. Name 3 movies that inspired you.
Inspired. I think there is one movie I watched it once and never dared to watch it again. It's Mera Naam Joker
Okay.
because it was so emotional. I think
Okay.
because it talks about like how the life is in reality, right? I mean how things can suddenly change. I think Mera Naam Joker is one, and then one movie which I like is Pyar To Hona Hi Tha.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm a huge Kajol fan.
Ajay Devgan, right?
I mean, not because of Kajol.
Kajol.
I'm a big Kajol and Juhi Chawla fan actually. My wife and daughter keep teasing me because of
Okay.
it. And one other movie which was really inspiring, I would say maybe Chak De India. It was a nice movie.
Okay. All right. Okay. Last one. Where do you usually go to stay up to date on latest trend on web development?
Oh, interesting question. I thought like that's why I'm paying for X or Twitter, whatever.
Yes. Sir.
But I
So
think
X is the main.
yeah, Twitter is, I think, this is where you can get a lot of information which is shit, but yeah, a lot of information which makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, true. I mean, I'm also been hanging out. I've been adding one connection, two connection. Now it's like I have a lot of people, and there is so much to catch up. And sometimes I feel like, okay, if I'm not checking one day, I'm like going to miss out a lot. Okay, amazing, Santosh. So that's a wrap. Where can people find you? I so did I miss something?
I think I'm on LinkedIn and X, very active there as well as Blue Sky, and you can also see my. I mean, I'm planning to start doing live streams, so go ahead and follow the YouTube channel, and I'll be doing some content there soon. And if you have anything for Code Rapid, just send me a DM and we can talk about it as well.
Okay, okay. Awesome. Thank you once again for taking valuable time. I mean, I had really a lot of questions, but it's also hard to discuss them in detail in short duration, right? So I really appreciate it.
No worries. I mean, yeah. I mean, we can do something again in future. So thanks again for inviting. I mean, really appreciate your time as well.